Onegaishimasu. Would you bow us in, please?
Excellent words. Thank you very much indeed. Onegaishimasu. Okay, well, thank you so much to the USAF for inviting me to be here today. I'm so excited to meet you guys, although I can't see who's there. I'm assuming there are thousands of children all over the world watching, so that's very exciting. And I just want to repeat what Arturo Sensei said. Make sure that you've got a really safe area to do the class in. So if you have, like, for example, a collection of crystal vases, get them out of there. If there are, maybe some small animals lying around, get them out of there. You want to have a lot of room so you don't squish or break things. I'd also like to let you know, as Arturo Sensei said, that I'm in Florida, Florida Aikikai. So it is a very warm part of the world. It's quite a relaxed culture down here. And so just like if you were to go to a dojo anywhere in the world, you might feel like every dojo has a little bit of its own personality. And our dojo is, I think, very warm and friendly, because we have some very warm and friendly chief instructors here. And so we're quite well known for being like that. So when I start my classes, I usually like to sit down and talk to the kids a little bit. So although we can't have a conversation today, I'm going to ask you some questions, and so you can just answer them in your heads. If any of you are really good at telecommunication, telepathy, I mean, then you can tell me your answers and I will hear them. So I would like to know, would you rather have a lightsaber or a monkey as a best friend? On the one hand, you have the lightsaber, you can go around thwarting your enemies. On the other hand, you have a monkey as a BFF. I personally would choose the monkey. Second question, would you rather be able to speak every human language in the world or every animal language? Pros and cons. The trouble with the animal languages, if you could hear all the animals, they might all just be going, I'm hungry all the time. That might be really annoying. All right, third question. Would you rather be 10 times smarter or 10 times funnier? I think, as you can tell, I'm already hilarious, so I don't think I need to be any funnier right now. I think I'd rather be 10 times funnier, and that would make this all go much better. So I did get some answers coming through there, and I heard somebody, I think in New Jersey, said that they would rather have a monkey as a best friend as well. So I hear you. I think that's great. So now we've got to know each other a little bit. We've warmed up our sense of humor. Now we're going to get focused. So I'm going to go get our singing bowl. We start every class with meditation, and we have this beautiful singing bowl. I'm going to come a little closer so you can see it. It's really heavy and solid, and it feels amazing. Like our kids, when we start the class, we always send one of the kids over to get it, and they really like to hold it. There's kind of a cool story that goes with our singing bowl. We used to have a student in our school who worked for an airline industry there, like an air steward. And so Peter Sensei, our chief instructor, found out that this person was working in India a lot. They would fly to India and then fly back again. And he said, can you go get us a singing bowl? So, sure, she said, that'd be no problem. So she went to a special place where they make singing bowls, and she ordered one. And the guy there said, okay, well, you can come back in, I think it was like a month or something, and come back and get it. So she flew back home, she went to get the singing bowl. And just as he was giving it to her, he said, oh, by the way, where are you taking the singing bowl? Where is it for? And she said, oh, it's for an Aikido dojo. And he said, oh, well, then this is not the right singing bowl for you. I have to start it all over and make you a new one. So she came back to the dojo and said, look, I'm sorry, Peter Sensei, I don't have a bowl for you because he's going to make a new one. And the next time she went back, he gave her this bowl. So this bowl was made for our dojo. It's very special. Something about this was made for our space. So I think that's really cool. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to hit the bowl 2 times. The first time I hit the bowl signals the beginning of meditation. It's really great, I think, at the beginning to use the sound of the bowl. I'll give you a quick preview. Beautiful sound. So that's kind of how you begin, and you start to let your awareness go to the bowl, listen to that sound, but eventually the sound's gonna fade away till you can't hear it anymore. And at that point, you're left with just the sounds in the room, wherever you are. You might hear traffic outside your window. You might hear maybe some children playing in another room. Maybe you live somewhere really noisy, somewhere really quiet. Whatever it is, you've got your own environment that you're in. And what's likely to happen is your mind is likely to start wandering, and it might be thinking about, maybe you're hungry, or maybe you're thinking about what you're going to have for dinner, or a friend that you're going to see later on. Because our minds tend to jump around a lot. They go to the future, they think about something that happened to us yesterday, and they think about the thing that we're thinking about, and it can get very noisy in here. I know mine does. So during meditation, this is an opportunity to just let ourselves be where we are right now. So if there's traffic outside your window, maybe you just listen to that. If you're feeling kind of a little too hot or a little too cold, you could just kind of sit with that and notice it, just pay attention to it. Something that a lot of people use during meditation is breathing, just to focus on the feeling of their breathing. And it really helps you to slow down and just be where you are without needing where you are to be any different than what it is. And that can be a really powerful tool to have in life. If you can be where you are without trying to need something to be different, it can really help out. So enough chatter from me. I'm going to sit right here. I'm going to hit the bowl the first time. That's when we begin. It's going to get real quiet. We're going to sit for a little while. And then when I hit it the second time, that's when we're going to open our eyes and we'll get moving. Okay. Hopefully you're ready. The way we do it in our dojo, if you'd like to join us, or you can do it your own way, is put left hand over right, thumbs together, and then let that sit in your lap. Okay, here we go. Okay. That was kind of cool to do meditation with people all over well, like I said, all over the world. I'm sure there are thousands of people, but that was kind of cool to know that you were all out there doing it at the same time with me. Okay, so let's get up and let's get moving. We are going to do a lot of things with our body. And so we want our body to be like warmed up, loosened up, ready to go. So let's start out with some little jumps. So just jumping on your toes, light as can be. Now let yourself do some big kind of heavy jumps. And then light jumps again. And you notice you have to do something quite different to control your body. So you're not just letting everything kind of hit the floor really hard. And that's going to be really important for your Aikido training, right? So you can challenge yourself to see, can you do big jumps quietly? See how high you can go. Maybe tap your knees. One last big one, ready? Okay, good. All right. So can you feel the blood flowing through your legs now? We're going to start to do some lunges. So getting into a kind of a Han-Mi position, like this, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. And we're going to be up on our tippy toes on the back foot. And you're going to let yourself drop down, keep a nice straight back, and up again. Might feel yourself, I had a little wobble there. Totally fine. We're going to be talking a lot about how to keep our balance today. So it's kind of good if you feel yourself lose your balance. It gives you an opportunity to think about, okay, how do I get more balance? Do I need to bring my feet closer together, further apart? Do a couple more on this side. Okay, switch. When you do lunges, you really want to, I'm going to try and show you here, like you don't want to be lunging forward, bending your back. You want to be nice and straight, going straight up and down like this. So we're on the other leg now. Okay, bring your feet apart and let's do some squats. We're going to really warm up these legs. Okay, again with squats are different, but with squats, you want to have your weight go down into your heel. You don't want to be up on your tippy toes when you do squats. So try to keep a nice straight back, almost like you were sitting down into a chair. So let's do 10 of those. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, shichi, hachi, kyu, ju. Okay, legs further apart. Let's go side to side. Okay, so we've got our ankles, our knees, all of our joints like loosening up. Maybe let's let our arms swing a little bit here. Let's try that. And then you can turn to one side and do a long squat. Okay, all right. We better leave our muscles alone in our legs for a little bit. So we have some strength left. So now we're gonna do some twists here using our centers. So let yourself turn. And I'm really just letting my arms kind of dangle. So I want the turn to start here. I'm not using my arms to start the twist. I'm using my core. We talk about this part of our body in Aikido as our tanden, like the center of everything. So I want to move the center and let the arms follow. And see if you can get some really big twists going. If one of your arms does fall off during this, wait until you're done and then put it back on again. But always get help from an adult reattaching an arm. Okay, good. All right. Now let's get our shoulders going. Roll backwards. Roll forwards. Up, down, up, down, up, down. And then let's do head side to side. Just put your hand lightly on your head, not pushing on it, just resting it there. Other side. Other side. One more. Okay, let's just roll around a little bit. And again. Okay. All right, and just shake your hands up. We're not going to be doing any, well, yeah, no, you know what? Let's do this. This would be good. Okay, so let's just warm up our wrists a little bit. So get into Hami position. Okay, you're going to take your hand, the hand that matches the front foot, put it out in front of you as if you were going to grab yourself by the face, like that. And then just turn your hand so that your pinky is towards your nose, like that. Here, I'll stay here. Okay, so we've twisted it here. You're going to grab the whole thing. I know some of you have done this 1,000 times, so you know what to do. But for any newer people, going to grab the whole thing, including the thumb. Don't grab the wrist. You don't want your hand to be able to move freely. Grab the whole thing, and then we're going to kind of pump it down like this. Okay, so we're going to go ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, shich, hach, Q, Ju. Okay, shake that one out. I heard a little blip, 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 blip in my headphone there. Can you guys still hear me? I'm going to assume until somebody tells me otherwise that you can hear me. Okay, other hand, again, like you were going to grab your own face, twist it around, grab the whole thing, and we're going to pump it down. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shichi, hachi, Q, Ju. And shake it out. Okay, so hopefully you are feeling warmed up, loosened up, ready for some exercises. So before we do the next part, I want to ask you a question. We've got something on the wall over here. I hope you guys can all see it. Some of you might know these kanji. They probably would be familiar to you if you've been doing Aikido for a long time. So I've given the game away there, really. This means Aikido. This is another really special thing that we have in our dojo that we are really fortunate to have, because it was actually, it's the calligraphy was done by O Sensei's son, the second doshu, Kishamaru Ueshiba. And it was a gift given to Yamada Sensei to celebrate the opening of our dojo here, Florida Aikikai, many, many years ago. So it's beautiful and very meaningful to us to have it here. And it helps to focus us. I think everybody on their home dojo has something, some kind of calligraphy that spells out Aikido. So do you know the meaning of each of those kanji, Ai, Ki, and Do? For example, let's start with the last one. What is Do? Kendo, Judo, Aikido. It means the way. So it's the way of doing something. So for example, if you had spaghetti dough, that would be the way of spaghetti. Or if you had elephant dough, that would be the way of being an elephant. So we have Aikido. So it's the way of what? Ai and Ki. Well, maybe you've heard Ki, Chi. That kind of comes up in popular culture a lot. It means energy. Did any of you guys say that? So something to do with energy, the way of something to do with energy. So the last one is Ai, Aikido. And Ai, there are different ways you can translate this Japanese kanji into English. Some people say to harmonize, some people say connect, some people say join. So if you put those three things together, you're talking about the way of connecting energy, the way of joining energy, the way of harmonizing energy. So you've got one energy here and you've got another one here, and they're coming together in a way that harmonizes. So something that I think is just really fabulous about Aikido is that it's teaching you how to connect energy, how to join energy with other people, not just on the mat in class, not just when you're doing a kurogaishu and iriminage, but any time in your life. So you might have a friend or a family member that when you get together, you just have a really fabulous time. Maybe you love the same things and you like to hang out together and you laugh at the same jokes and you get really goofy and silly together, or you have deep, meaningful chats. And it just feels great because your energy connects in this way that's harmonious and it's beautiful and it feels so wonderful. But I'm guessing that you also have people in your life where when your energy and their energy comes together, it doesn't turn out quite like that. Maybe you've got people that you always argue with, or maybe there are people that you kind of avoid and you don't like to be around. Maybe there are people that you sometimes push away from you. I think everybody in their lives has different people that it's just not so easy to get on well with. Now, if everybody, I'm getting that little bleeping sound again. Okay, if everybody was like your best friend, that would be just wonderful and cool and you could do all sorts of things together. But life isn't like that. Life is really challenging and you have to learn how to be around lots of different people. So I think what we learn here on the mat physically with our bodies is teaching us how to take our energies and other people's energies and bring them together in a way that we can still be ourselves, but we can connect and we can make cool things happen. So I think that's a concept that some of the older students out there might connect with a little better than some of our little ones. So I'll leave it there and you can think about that if that's interesting to you. Okay, so first part of that is if we're going to connect and join with another person without them just taking over. Have you ever, for example, been in a conversation where you just can't get a word in and you just feel like your voice isn't being heard? If you're going to connect in a way where you can harmonize, you got to be able to stand your ground, to be yourself, to be balanced and centered and have good direction. So in Aikido, we learn how to do that, right? We learn how to be very solid and grounded and rooted. And we're going to do some things to help us practice that. So get 2 feet on the ground like this. And we're just going to see if we can kind of move ourselves around without falling over. I'm assuming you've all moved all the furniture out of the way. So if you do end up falling over, that's okay. In fact, let's just practice that real fast. If you do end up falling over, the easiest, simplest fall, I have a 10-month-old baby. This is how she falls down. Boom, like that. Just make sure you tuck your head so you're not banging your head on the floor. So let's just practice that one more time. Pop down and over you go. And some of you know how to do more advanced rolls, and that's just fine. Okay, so you've got 2 feet on the ground and start going over to one side. Start going over to the other side. Start to go backwards. You'll find that you can go a lot further backwards if you go up on your tippy toes like this. You can probably do much more of a limbo. And I know when we do this in class, a lot of the kids can go way further back than me. So please do whatever you can do, but stay safe. Okay, and then you can try going forward, seeing how far you can lean forwards without losing your balance. Okay, so when you do this kind of like balancing exercise, you're learning about your own center of gravity. You're learning how far you can go and what muscles you need to use to keep yourself up. So let's make it a little harder. Instead of 2 feet, we're going to use just 1 foot. So you've got 1 foot on the ground. The other one, just start to kind of swing it around a little bit. Just kind of challenge yourself. You can start to go a bit further forward, further back. Try going out to the side. You could see, even if you can reach all the way down and tap the floor and come back up again. Try the other side. So start to swing your foot forward, out to the side, back. I'm using my arms to help me, right? If I just have my arms like this, I mean, you can still do it, but if I have my arms out, then I feel like I have a bit more control. And this is what, if you've seen people flying through the air taking ukemi in Aikido, you'll see them in these positions, right? This is what someone looks like in the middle of a kotegaishi fall. So you're getting yourself ready for that, and you're helping to integrate all the different parts of your body. That's it. Now, you can challenge yourself, right? You can make it harder. So let's go up on tippy toes. So we're up on our toes. So now there's even less of us touching the ground. And what we're working on here is being able to focus on our own center, our own balance. So if you were in a conversation with someone and it wasn't going really well, maybe they said something that offended you, hurt your feelings, and you start to feel like you're going to disappear or fall over, you can learn, whoa, how to keep your balance, how to regain your balance, how to stay centered in a difficult situation. So we've done that on tippy toes. Let's do the other side. And if you haven't lost your balance yet, you haven't challenged yourself enough. If you keep it like where you're just doing a little bit and it's just like you're like, oh, this is easy, then push it a little further. Okay, so we've done tippy toes on both sides. Now, I'm gonna give you directions now. So you've just kind of like been going around whichever way you want. Now this time I'm gonna ask you to either go forwards, like that, backwards, like that, sideways one way, or the other way. You can choose, okay? So you're starting out, let's not do tippy toes for this one. Let's just do like on our foot. Okay, so get your balance, get still. And let yourself start to play a little bit. Forward and backwards, sideways. Okay, so now I'm going to call it out and you're going to see if you can get to the place that I tell you to. Forward, backward, side, back, forward, back, side, back, forward. Ooh. Okay, let's do the other side now. Okay, so start out, get balanced. You know, a great exercise you can do for your balance. We're not going to do this right now, but you can, if you try to learn how to be balanced blindfold, like with your eyes closed, but you have to really make sure there's nothing dangerous around you. But it's a really great way. It's so much harder to balance with your eyes closed, but you guys can try that on your own time. And if you're little, do it with a parent watching. Okay, but we're going to keep our eyes open. If you're struggling to balance, pick a point in front of you and just stare at it. Let yourself relax into it. You might find suddenly that it's way easier to balance when you do that. So now we're going to do specific places. So let's go side, forward, back, side, forward. I hope you guys are doing a better job than I am. Backwards, forwards, side, and up again. Okay, and that's a great workout for your legs. You feel that? My calf muscles are talking to me. Okay, great. So now we're going to do some of the tai sabaki, some of the body movements that you are very familiar with. And we're going to keep thinking about balance, center, and knowing our own direction, okay? So we're going to start out in Han Mi. Han Mi means half body. So Mi is body and Han is half. So it's kind of like, here's your full body, and then here's your half body, which is a more protective stance. Okay, so let's get into Han Mi. Now you can, I think it's good every now and then to play around with harmony and sort of like be intentional and thoughtful about it. So if you have your feet really far apart, if you get into a harmony that's like way too wide, see as you move around, see if you can feel how that changes your center and your balance. And then try bringing your feet really close together, like this. And then again, imagine like if someone was going to try and knock you over right now, how easy would it be for you to stand up? And then find for yourself what feels like your most balanced position. For some people, that's going to be a little wider. For some people, it's going to be a little closer together. So you're finding your own sweet spot. And I think it's really helpful here to really bend your knees and think about grounding yourself. When I was in class this morning teaching, I was saying to the kids, when you get into harmony, you can imagine as if your feet had like roots, you know, like a tree that has roots growing out of it, as if they were growing into the ground, that you are so rooted, like you're an oak tree with these big, thick roots that reach down to the ground and embed you in the earth. That's how grounded you are. And yet, at a moment's notice, to be able to move them again. It's a very cool thing, I think, to be very grounded and also very swift and light at the same time. And that, I think, is one of the things that Aikido teaches your body how to be, and it can teach your mind how to be like that too. So there's a lot we could talk about in terms of harmony, right? So let's move on then. So we're in harmony. Now we're going to do some irimi movements, some entering movements. So as I enter, I'm going to do a little bit of a swing, a little sword cut with my hands. Irimi, irimi. Let's start a little further backwards. Here we go. Ready? Irimi, 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 irimi. Okay, now when I take those steps, I'm thinking about different parts of my body. Of course, I'm thinking about my feet and my arms and my hands, but I'm also thinking about this again, the tanda and the center. And I want to really focus my balance in this movement. So I want to feel like I'm very grounded and very centered. So kind of like if you were in a conversation with someone who was maybe saying things that were hurting your feelings and making you upset, can you calm yourself down and return to your own center so that you can stay calm and clear? So let's do that one more time. Irimi, irimi, irimi. We'll go backwards now. Tenshin, tenshin, tenshin. Irimi, irimi, tenshin. Some other things you might think about are like your extension, keeping your back straight, your head up. When I first started Aikido, I always had sort of like, not T-Rex hands exactly, but I had a tendency to kind of crunch in. And I realized that was kind of like my reaction in life in general, was to go kind of like, oh, like when I felt intimidated or like if I was feeling embarrassed about something, I kind of wanted to make myself really small. So in learning Aikido, I've had to allow myself to keep my arms extended and learn how to keep my movements big. And so I think that's helped me in life too, that now if something is happening that's making me feel emotionally overwhelmed, I can breathe into it and try to stay extended. Okay, so let's do a couple more movements. We're going to slide forward. Let's put our, well, it doesn't matter. You can use your right foot or your left foot. We're going to do Suriyashi, sliding in. Suriyashi, Suriyashi, Suriyashi. Okay, let's go back and do the other side. Suriyashi, Suriyashi, Suriyashi. Okay, let's do some turns. We're going to do tentai, 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 tentai. Again, thinking about leading the movement from right here. Tentai, tentai. It changes it for me. If I think, oh, I'm turning my body, I do it one way. And if I think my center is turning, it changes the way the whole thing feels. I don't know if you guys feel like that too. Tentai, tentai. Okay. All right. So now we're going to do EQ exercise. So choose your harmony. Think about how far apart you want your feet. Think about rooting your feet down into the ground. Think about being loose and flexible. Think about being centered. And we're going to allow our arms to just swing up like this. Again, if you can, to think about moving from right here. This is kind of like where the movement starts. And we're going to say ich ni, which of course means 1, 2, 1, 2. Ready? Ich knee, itch, knee, itch, knee, itch, knee, itch, knee. Now, oftentimes when we're doing this in class, I see this happening where somebody's going, itch, knee, or they're going, itch, knee, itch, knee. And it can be really hard to stop doing that because you're thinking, I'm going forward. You kind of want to lead with your head. So try to keep yourself upright. Itch, knee, itch, knee. Let's do it again. Ready? Itch, knee, itch, knee, itch, knee, itch, knee, itch, knee. Now we'll do 2 directions. So this is cool because we have to be very rooted, grounded, roots going to the ground. But then, pop, we got to move really fast. So let me face this way, actually. So this gives us a chance to feel like I can be rooted and grounded and strong, and I can be light and I can move and I can respond quickly. Ich, ni, san, shi, ich, ni, san, shi, ich, ni, san, shi, ich, ni, san, shi. Okay. Let's see. Should we do one more thing? Let's do, yeah, this is my favorite. Let's do some irimi tenkans. Okay, because now we've got a lot of movement happening. So we're going to start in hami position. We're going to step forward, raising our arms. It's really cool to think about raising a sword as you do this, like this. If you don't have an actual sword, just use sound effects. I found it's just as effective. Okay, so you're stepping forward, hands raised. Actually, let me do it like this. Okay, then we're going to pivot on the spot and we're going to step down and cut. So we're raising up, pivot, cut. Okay, so let's do 10 of those. We'll start slowly and speed up. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Ich, ni, san, 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 ich, ni, san. Okay, I've lost track. I hope you guys were keeping count there because I wasn't. Let's do this. We're going to do it again, and I'll just count 1 at a time. But don't worry about the counting. That doesn't really matter so much. Keep your focus on balance, center, but this open movement. Okay, so we'll do 10 of these. Ready? Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, shich, hach, kyu, ju. For about the first probably 10 years of Aikido, I really wasn't all that into irimi tenkans. Like we would do them in class and I would be like, okay, yes, fine, I'm doing irimi tenkans. I didn't really think anything of it. But in the last, the last few years, I've gotten really into them. So if you find that boring now, just wait a decade and then you might get really into it. I love them now. Okay, so now we're going to add something. So we've talked a lot about being balanced and rooted. And now we're going to talk about a bit more about this other piece, about being able to adapt. Because back to this idea, if you've got 2 people coming together and maybe things aren't so easy for those 2 people to come together, one of the things that can happen is that one person can become really dominant. So you might have had a situation where you were trying to play with a friend, if you're a little kid or if you're an older kid, try to, work on a project with someone, and your voice is just getting lost, like I said before, and the other person just kind of like dominates. Or maybe you're the one who's kind of pushy and a little overbearing, and you're always the one who chooses what everybody gets to do. So I think really cool things can happen when everybody's voices can be heard and when people can figure out how to be open and listen as well as speak. So we're going to do some blending, connecting exercises. So this is kind of like the I part of the Aikido, right? Like the harmonizing, the connecting. So, okay, so we're going to start out like this. You're going to let a different part of your body lead your movement. So let's start out with, say, our nose. Okay, so just using the little space that you're working in, let your nose lead your movement around the space. You might go up and down. You might go, oh, like this, turn around. Let your nose tell you where it wants to go, and you're going to kind of follow. Uh-oh, my nose wants to go down here. Let's come back up here. Okay, that's good. Thank you, nose. All right, now let's try elbow. Okay, so your elbow is in the lead now. Your elbow is going to take you around, maybe up and down. Oh, elbow moves differently than nose. My elbow has kind of a naughty streak. My elbow likes elbowing people. Yeah. Okay, that's enough. Now let's try, how about, let's have our hip lead. Okay, so again, you feel the movement differently if your hip is moving you around the space. Maybe a little slower, a little lower. Different people are like that. Different people have different energies. And when two different energies come together, they come together in different ways. Okay, so kind of gives you a little bit of a feeling for if somebody or something is in the lead, it's going to change how everything is. Now, I'm going to assume that in your house, within easy reach, maybe you got a ball, maybe you got a pencil, maybe you got a belt, maybe you've got something else. It doesn't matter. I have these things as examples. I'm going to try this with a ball. It doesn't matter what you've got, but pick an object, not one of your crystal vases, nothing, no antiques, but choose something that you can hold, that if you drop it, it doesn't matter. And we're going to let this lead us around this space. So I start with this ball. I'm going to try to allow the ball to kind of tell me where it wants to go. Sounds kind of strange, huh? And I'm going to let my whole body follow. Something that Aikido practitioners get really good at, we're called Aikidoka, right? Aikido students, is we let our whole body move. Like if you haven't trained in Aikido, you might just stand here and go like this. But an Aikido student knows how to connect everything. Whoosh. You can change hands. Whoosh. Luckily, I don't have a coffee table to trip over. Okay, I'm going to try it with a different object, see how that changes things. I'm going to go with the belt. I know probably a lot of you have a belt. This is something you could try later if you like. So this has a different feel to it. It's a different weight, different movement. So it sort of wants to travel differently. I apologize to any parents who just had something get knocked off a shelf. Hopefully you'll sign some kind of shelf waiver. Whoa, very different feeling here. And that's going to be the same when you're on the mat training with people. Sometimes you're going to train with someone who is more like kind of a ball, someone who's more like this. You might train with somebody who's like big and heavy and slower, big and heavy and faster, people whose energy is really spiky, people whose energy is really goofy, whatever it is. It's really cool when you get to train with all those different people and figure out how can we do Aikido together? How can we make really cool techniques happen? All right, so now let's practice what it's like to blend when the energy that's coming at you is not so easy to deal with. So in Aikido, we train against a strike, right? So maybe in Aikido, somebody might strike you with a ski. They might attack you, yokemen or shomen, weapons of all different kinds. And like if I asked you right now, what are some of the things you do when you're getting struck? If someone's like trying to hit you or kick you or something, what are some of the basic things we learn to do in Aikido? Get out of the way. Ooh, we have to turn off our alarms, of course. I'm still here. Okay, yeah. So you want to get out of the way, move so you're not getting hit. That's like the first thing. But what we try to do is to move out of the way in such a way that we can blend with that attack. Really, really, really hard to do, and it takes a lot of practice. So I'm going to pretend that you're right here in front of me and I'm striking at you. So maybe I'm going to try and hit you in the side of the head, for example, over here or over here. Maybe I'm coming in with a ski punch like that. So you're going to stand here. And if I come at your head on this side, I want you to try to absorb that, blend, feel where it's coming and get out of the way. If I come on this side, same thing. Maybe if I'm coming straight at you right here and you need to move off to the side, you swing your leg back. So let's try one of those one at a time. So first of all, I'm going to come in with a strike and I want you to just kind of turn your body, get out of the way, hands out like this. Okay, so everyone's centered, get into your nice rooted hammi position. Ready? Okay, did everyone manage to get out of the way? Let's try the other side. Ready? Okay, now this time I'm going to strike more at your head. So this is going to be more one of these where you want to bend out of the way. However it feels, it makes more sense to you right now. Okay, so I'm going to strike like this, and that's the movement that you have to try and move with. Hey. Ready? Ready? Okay, let's do the other side. So let's try to put some of these things together as we move towards the end of the class here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to lead you through some basic Tai Sabaki again. We're going to do Irimi and we're going to do Tenshin. Maybe we'll do a little bit of EQ exercise. But at any moment, I might go, Hoi! And I'm going to do some kind of exciting shout just to let you know what's happening. So maybe you're in the middle of EQ exercise and you suddenly hear, hey, and you got to get out of the way. So you're working on being really grounded, really, really centered, and then being able to adapt and move. Okay. So let's do that one time. See if it makes sense to you. So we're going to start out with that basic movement. Irimi, irimi, irimi. Ready? Hiya! Did you all move? Is anyone lying on the floor because of my powerful punch? Okay, so let's do that again. Irimi, irimi, tenshin, tenshin. Hiya! Did I get you? Here we go. Ready? Let's do from this side. Irimi, tentai, tentai, tenshin, tenshin, irimi. Hiya! If anyone's here for their first Aikido class, we don't really do that in class, but it's fun. I do it when I'm teaching kids because I like squealing like that. But just so you know, irimi, irimi, tenshin, tenshin, hiya. Okay, so hopefully you found a way to get centered and grounded, move from your tanden, and get out of the way to respond to the energy that I was bringing at you there. So let's just take a minute or two just to kind of settle ourselves down. So let's just swing our arms a little bit forward, backward. Let's twist. And let's stretch one arm out here. Wiggle your fingers. And the other arm out here. Okay, reach back and up. Reach behind you and stretch out. And grab your elbows and we're just gonna bend over, let everything hang down. And reach up and breathe in. Again. One more time. Okay. So I heard the chime, which signals to me that it's time for us to say goodbye. So I would like to again thank you so much. It was such a treat to be able to do this with you today. So thank you for the USAF to the USAF for inviting me here. I'm looking forward to looking and seeing who was on the call. Maybe see where different parts of the country you guys were from, different dojos. If there was anyone here who was new to Aikido, hey, welcome. You just took your first class. That's exciting. Maybe you will look back, 10 years from now when you're putting on your new black belt and say, oh, I remember my first class during coronavirus. And if you are an advanced practitioner who has been coming to these classes or doing classes at home, man, it's an amazing thing that you are staying dedicated to your training through this challenging time. And hats off to you for being here today. And great job. So I think someone else is going to come on because I think there might be some announcements from the USAF.
Hey, thank you so much for a wonderful class. I just wanted to announce that our next class is May 15th with Aaron Cass. Again, thank you so much. And would you bow us out? And everybody, you can unmute and turn your cameras on to say thank you after we bow out.
Okay, let's do it. Thank you, everybody. Domo arigatou gozaimashita. Thank you.
Arigatou gozaimashita.